It's time again to recap the latest news from the solar industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of October 13th. This summer, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned a 40-year-old precedent that said that those in federal agencies that have expertise should interpret ambiguous laws passed by Congress. The 1984 ruling that set this guidance was Chevron USA versus the National Resource Defense Council and became known as the Chevron Doctrine. The new ruling by the court, which now allows federal court judges to use their own judgment in interpreting how these laws should be administered. As a result, renewable energy supporters are now questioning whether the IRA regulations are going to come under review. Now, since the IRA is a tax bill, there's less of a chance of this being challenged in court. According to Keith Martin, a partner in the law firm Norton Rose Fulbright, in an interview with Solar Power World, he said, "It's very hard for anyone to bring a policy case against the IRS and the Treasury about a specific statute." But he did add that the only thing that this recent court ruling makes certain is that uncertainty now is escalated. Nearly 9 in 10 Californians believe that solar customers should be fairly compensated for the power that they send back to the grid. 85% said that the state should be working harder to encourage more solar adoption within the state, according to new polling released this week by Global Strategy Group, North Star Opinion Research, and CEA, the Solar Energy Industries Association. Californians overwhelmingly agree that more solar is good for the state's economy and will save California families money. According to the poll, 84% of those polled said that everyone benefits when more people go solar, and 79% said that they did not believe their local utility in their explanations as to why electric prices are increasing. The poll reveals strong backing for solar in all of its forms. 87% supported construction of utility-scale systems out in remote lands. 74% said they would support those constructions of those facilities in their own neighborhoods. And 64% of those people living in rural communities said they would adopt solar within their region as well. Nearly 3/4 of Texans agree there's too much red tape put in the way of new solar projects. In a similar poll conducted by CEA, 89% of Texans, including 83% of self-identified Trump voters, agree that farmers and property owners should have the right to determine whether or not they want to sell their or lease their lands for solar projects. In addition, a majority of Texans oppose proposals that would impose higher fees and make more regulatory hurdles put into play in the way of solar projects. More than 80% of Texans surveyed said they would like Texas lawmakers to create a level playing field between oil and gas and solar and renewable energy so that they compete equally. Solar is also the most popular source of power in Texas, with 73% of those polled arguing that their local electric utilities should implement more solar as far as their electrical generating sources. Solar PV is set to be the driving force behind the world's rapid expansion in the world of renewable energy capacity over the coming decade. Solar is set to account for about 80% of all of the new clean energy additions between now and 2030. These are the key takeaways from a report called Renewables 2024, which is the latest edition of this report coming from the International Energy Agency, or the IEA. The report forecasts a massive growth in new renewable power by 2030, with 5,500 gigawatts of new capacity being added during that time period. Now, that's about 3 times as much that was added in in a similar period of time in the last 6 years from 2017 to 2023 and represents about as much capacity as currently exists in China, the US, the European Union, and India combined. Solar module prices are back on the upswing after hitting a floor in April 2024, according to the third quarter solar module pricing's insight report from ANSA Renewables. In June 2024, the median U.S. module price rose from 25 cents per watt to about 27.5 cents per watt, or about a 10% increase. Now, several factors are key in this price increase. One is the ruling recently, anti-competitive ruling for modules being imported from Southeast Asia, which added about 15% to the cost of solar modules here in the United States. This was countered a bit by the growth of domestic manufacturing capacity, which they claim in this report has caused about a 4-cent reduction in the price of solar modules from competition from U.S. manufacturers, or that's about a 7.5% decline. And then removing bifacial modules as an exemption for tariffs did add to this increase as well. And even though the module prices are going up, the cost of installing solar has never been cheaper. Residential solar installation prices are near an all-time low, and storage prices have actually hit an all-time low. Solar prices fell for the second 6-month period in a row, reaching an average of about $2.69 per watt, nearing an all-time record low according to Energy Sage that has been tracking these prices since 2014. Prices vary greatly by state, with the highest installed cost reported in Rhode Island at about $3.30 per watt, and the lowest state costs at Arizona and Texas, averaging about $2.10 per watt. Quoted storage prices also dropped, setting a record low of $1,133 for a kilowatt hour of stored capacity. The percentage of homeowners nationwide purchasing a battery with their solar array, according to Energy Sage, has climbed to 34%. Now, this was led in large part by California, where about 70% of those installing systems are adding batteries. But outside of California, we still saw an increase up to about 22% of those systems that are incorporating solar are now incorporating solar storage as well. And that's the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.